proper measure of how patients' outcomes are affected. Is there a measure that you use for that, whether broken down by trauma or other forms of A&E activity? And how do you think that has or will be affected by the changes to both the two A&Es closing in Hammersmith and Central themselves?
That's a good question. Obviously, in terms of outcomes, I mean, the crudest outcome obviously is whether people live or die, and clearly the Imperial College Healthcare's standardised mortality rates are very good, and we would anticipate they'll continue to be very good. So, the third best in the country at the moment.
They could be improving if you're closing all the A&Es, otherwise there's no reason to do it in the first place.
So I still think patients will get better care when they come to the emergency rooms at St Mary's. I made the point last time, obviously, that the EU at the Hammersmith was not run by emergency medicine doctors, it was run by acute physicians, and actually now people who attend the emergency departments are being seen by accident and emergency teams with accident and emergency junior doctors. Come back to your questions, it's a difficult one in terms of short term, obviously 3.5 weeks is difficult. One of the things is how long people are actually waiting to be seen and then to be treated. So rather than just the crude, how many people waiting 4 hours, how many people, what's the average time people have to wait, and then how many patients are still in the department at 6 hours. And I think that in the short term, we've certainly seen some deterioration in those figures, and that's what we're working to get back in relation to what you were asking me earlier about what we're doing about dealing with the surges. So the average time, the median time to be seen and treated at St Mary's at the moment is 67 minutes, and at Charing Cross is 40 minutes. And obviously we want to bring that down. We get monthly a breakdown of the number of patients who are in the department for varying amounts of time, and what we want to do is to get it skewed to the left rather than to the right. So I think it's a surrogate, but it's an indicator of how patients are flowing through the department.
Just to follow up on that, I think Mr McManus mentioned this in his introduction, relating to the number of emergency physician consultants. How has that impacted on the proportion of time in the week when there are consultants actively in the A&E department? And how does that compare to before the changes? And do you see that increasing in the future?
So we've recently increased on-site consultant capacity till 10 PM every day. That will go to, when we get the additional consultants in, to midnight, 5 days a week initially, and then hopefully to 7 days a week with actually an A&E consultant in the department. I have to say that they've been working very hard. There are at least 2, and often 3 A&E consultants in the department in the early evening, and where necessary they obviously stay late, so we've had people staying into the